So you're moving to Warrensburg or you're PCSing to Whiteman Air Force Base, and oh my gosh, how are you gonna buy a house with the market so crazy? Let's talk about it. Today, we're gonna talk about a local market update for Johnson County, Missouri, which is the home of Warrensburg, Missouri and Whiteman Air Force Base. Stay tuned. And don't forget to like and subscribe right down below, because I make a new video every single week all about eating, breathing, buying houses in Warrensburg, Missouri near Whiteman Air Force Base, and you're gonna wanna get notified. Also, my contact information is right down below. Now, I talk to people from all over the world who are coming here who have questions. I talked to someone last week from someplace as close as Nebraska, and they're coming here to UCM and they're gonna go to college here, and they actually wanted to buy a house instead of rent, which is a great financial investment, by the way. And I was like, yeah, I can totally help you and talk to you about this town. So if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Eva Norton with Next Door Agents in Warrensburg, Missouri. Hello, my friends. Thank you for joining me. Today, we're gonna talk a little bit about the housing market in Johnson County, Missouri. We're gonna do a little bit of a market update to go over what's been going on last month and the month before, and kind of see where we are. Is it a good time to sell your house? Is it a good time to buy your house? Well, let's look at some numbers and talk about it. So I have up on the screen, and I'll show you these, but these are the local market reports for November and December 2022 for Johnson County, Missouri. So let's just talk about it. The first things that of course pop out to me are the closed sales. How many houses were sold during December? So if you look here, in November there was only 47 houses versus last November, which there were 80 houses sold. And then this December there were 54 houses sold versus last December there were 77. So what does that tell you? Well, we're still coming up out of that pre-COVID frenzy buying slump. So last year, there were just, houses were going so fast, so fast, so fast. And now things have slowed down a bit. They are getting a little bit of an uptick, but in the wintertime also, house sales will regularly slow down, because honestly, who wants to move in the wintertime unless they have to? So closed sales slowly going up. The next thing that's very interesting is the average sales price of homes sold. So the average sales price, both in December and November, were very similar, $274,000 and $275,000 respectively. This is compared to last year, the average sales price was around $240,000 and $245,000. This tells you something about Warrensburg as a housing market. So I've said it in other videos, we have a really exciting, interesting housing market here in Warrensburg, Missouri, and also in Knob Noster, Missouri. And that's because we have the University of Central Missouri and we have Whiteman Air Force Base. So we have this regular influx of people on this 2 to 4 year cycle where they come in, they buy a house because they want to go to the university, and they're very smart. So they buy a house, they go to university for 2 to 4 years, and then they sell the house and they make a profit. And it's very similar with airmen and women PCSing or change of duty station. They get sent to Whiteman Air Force Base to work, and they're here anywhere between 2 to 4 to 6 years. They smartly purchase a house, because that's a great way to invest in your future. And then when they leave, they sell that house and make money. So there's a constant influx of new people and a constant turnover. This is actually getting even more, if you can imagine, because Whiteman Air Force Base got the contract for the new B-21 bomber. So there's gonna be an influx of even more people coming to Warrensburg. So the fact that the price of houses, the average price of houses and the median prices of houses is steadily going up just tells me that buying a home in Warrensburg is always going to be competitive. And you're always, if you take care of your house, you're always going to make money on it when you sell. Because our housing market has not gone down in like 20 years. It's always going up because houses are a hot commodity in this town. So the next number that we're talking about is very similar to the average sales price. It's the median sales price, which is basically that number smack dab right in the middle of both sides of the fence. And it is just like the average. It has gone up from last year in both November and December. So the median sales price went up from $242,000 in November to $242,950 in December. So not a giant change, but over last year, the median was only around $206,000 and $228,000 respectively. So again, house prices in Johnson County will continue to steadily go up, no matter what the market is doing or what the interest rates are doing. Moving on. Another very interesting statistic is the days on market until sale. So this is how long does your house sit on the market until you get an offer and go under contract to sell it. So the average last year was 20 and 29 days for November and December. Very short amount of time. And I know during, the pandemic housing sales, you'd put a house on the market and oh my gosh, same day or next day, you'd have it sold. You'd have 5 or 6 offers way over asking price. So that thankfully has slowed down a little bit. And I say thankfully because it's evening out the market for buyers versus just for sellers. So the time on market is now 35 and 37 days. So 35 in November, 37 in December of this, last month. Now, this still is below the regular amount of time a house sat on the market before COVID. That average was around 47 days in Johnson County. So we still haven't caught up. So I like to find little snippets online and about the housing market in general in the United States. And this is one very interesting one I found. So the median of 53 metro area prices. In December 2022, the median of all 53 metro area sales prices was $385,000, down 2.3% compared to November 2022. So even though our housing prices in Warrensburg are steadily going up, we are still way below the national median for the United States because their median is $385,000 and ours is $242,000. So you can still find an amazingly affordable home in Warrensburg. Another one of these fantastic snippets that I found, the days on market average of 53 metro areas in the United States, the average days on market for homes sold in December 2022 was 47. Up 8 days from the average in November 2022 and up 10 days from the average in December 2021. So everyone else is still experiencing, they're now back up to 47 days on the market. So here in Warrensburg, houses are still moving faster than anywhere else. So the next numbers I want to talk about are the percentage of original list price received. So what does this mean? This is when you put your house on the market, it's how much you get of that asking price. So say I put a house on the market for $100,000 and then I get an offer for $100,000 and I close the contract and sell the house for $100,000. I got 100% of my asking price. So last year and a little bit from the year before during the pandemic, when people put a house on the market because the supply was so low, there were not enough houses on the market, you were getting 5 or 6 or 7 offers and people were offering 115% of your asking price. They were paying you more money for your house than you put it on the market for. And that's because there was just a shortage of houses and people needed to buy a home, especially here in Warrensburg where you have families coming in to work on the military base. They have to have a home. They don't have a choice. So thankfully that's now started to decline. In November, we saw the percentage of original list price received go down to 94.6%. This was from 97.4% the previous year. And then in December, we have gone, up a little bit, 95.2%, but that's still definitely lower than last year's 98.8%. What does this tell us? So this gives us a really good idea that the market is actually evening out, so it's not skewed just towards the sellers. You're actually having buyers now who, because there's more options, they can take longer to make a decision, they can really think about their offer, and they can negotiate on price and things that they want instead of just throwing all their money at someone hoping they get the house. And that leads us to inventory. So, in November, there were 138 houses on the market, and in December, there were 115. This is in comparison to last year, there were 91 and 81 houses on the market. Now, pre-COVID, there were usually around 150 houses on the market at any given time. It does drop a little bit sometimes in the wintertime, but we still have not risen back up to that level. So, what does this tell you? Kind of like I said before, we have more options for buyers. We are not back to where we were, but we still have a lot more options. So this really takes the complete control from the seller and really makes it more of a fair, equal opportunity for the buyer and the seller to come to a really great, equitable offer. So I'm gonna leave you with this really cool article that I found called December Declines Accentuate Year of Transition Towards Balanced Market, and I found it on PRN Newswire. And down at the bottom it says, looking forward into 2023, the higher interest rate environment clearly poses some challenges, yes. But as buyers, sellers, and agents recalibrate their expectations, sales will continue to occur. Demand hasn't gone away. The question is, which real estate professionals have the skills, experience, resources, and adaptability to provide the guidance consumers will continue to need? This is so true, because the most important thing in the market right now, with especially the higher interest rates, the raise in supply, but still not back to the level that we need, is that you have to find an agent who is resourceful and who is smart and knows what they're doing. Because there's so many ways that, for example, you can help the buyer buy down the interest rate with the seller's help. There's so many things that you can wrap into a loan and negotiate, like seller paid closing costs, that you can really help your buyers negotiate and come away feeling like they got a really good deal during this period of time where the interest rates are higher. I'll tell you, and I've said this in previous videos, and I stand firm to it. Personally, I believe that it's way better to purchase a house at a great price or to get a really great deal on a house at a higher interest rate than to overpay for a house at a lower interest rate, because you can always refinance. So moving on in the article, as strong believers in the advantages of homeownership, woo, preach, we think the ongoing market rebalance is actually a good thing. 100% agree. It's putting buyers and sellers on more equal footing, which is refreshing after so many years of sellers having the upper hand. It's like I'm talking to myself. Sellers still have a strong position, but buyers are gaining more power in what's likely one of the largest financial transactions of their lives. With mortgage rates and home prices appearing to stabilize, and with the dramatic increase we've seen in the number of homes for sale, both buyers and sellers have reason to be optimistic as we head into the new year. Boom! Absolutely 100% agree. So, as you can see from all the numbers and all the things I've thrown at you today, we are actually in so much of a better position to purchase a house here in Johnson County than we were last year. And I say that because now both sides of the coin have power. The sellers and the buyers have a more even footing. The sellers have more people looking, but the buyers really have more options. So they can actually negotiate, they can get a fair value price. And with a really smart real estate agent, they can find an affordable, amazing house. There you have it, my friends. I hope you have enjoyed my video. I hope that you like and subscribe down below, because I make a new one every single week and you're gonna wanna get notified. Also, my contact information is right there. And if you have any questions, if you're coming here, if you wanna chat about, hey, what's your favorite restaurant in town? Shoot me a text, send me an email, call me. I love talking to people. Till next time.